Hope that you're doing well. Hope that you are good and safe in your part of the world. How are you? How you been? We haven't spoken in 24 hours. What's going on? I hope that you're doing well. I am here at my home and just getting ready to enjoy another day, spend another day talking with all of you, working on my business, working on data science, working on a variety of things. I am so lucky that I get to sit at home and be able to talk data science all day with all of you. So really happy to be here. And really, that's the purpose of this show, right? The whole point of the Data Roundtable is for us to come together as data scientists and share and talk and celebrate, commiserate, all those things, right? What are you working on? What are you doing? What's got you excited? What doesn't have you excited? Let me know. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know how you're doing out there. I am just looking forward to another day ahead of different things that I have to take care of. As many of you know, I offer one-on-one coaching with people. But you know what? Sometimes you need coaching yourself. So I will actually be taking some coaching later this morning. I have different people that I work with for different parts of my business and things like that. So I will actually be getting some of my own coaching today, and then after that, I have a couple of client phone calls, a couple of different things to do. But otherwise, we're just going to keep on going, keep on moving forward in my day. Really looking forward to today. It's a beautiful day outside where I live. I hope that the weather is out pretty good where you live too. But yeah, just getting my Tuesday going, keeping the week going. It's always good to, wake up and be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Not be sick or ill or things like that, and just be able to take on the day. So I hope the same for you. And in the chat, we have Casual Economist saying good morning. Hey, my friend, how are you? Such a great supporter. Really appreciate you, my friend. Hope you're doing well out there. Let me know how the weather's treating you out there, Casual Economist. It's gorgeous where I live. It is gorgeous out here this time of year. October, November, December, January is just my favorite time of year out where I live. It's so nice. The air has a crispness to it, where it's nice and crisp, and you look up in the sky and it's like a clear blue. There's no clouds whatsoever. You cannot beat the time of year that it is out here where I live. So hope that all of you are doing well. Hope that all of you are advancing in some way in your careers, in your data studies, in your craft, in your practice. Hope that you're moving forward today. Casual Economist says, feels like 85 here. Okay, well, that's a little bit on the warm side. And I'm going to guess that it's a little bit of a humid 85, in the Land O'Lakes over there. Fortunately, I do not live near big bodies of water, so it's very dry out where I live, but that's the way I like it. It's nice and dry out here. No humidity. And this morning when I took my dog out, it was only 72 degrees. So perfect weather out here. But let me know what you guys are working on. Let me know what you're doing in your studies. What are you doing today? Not tomorrow, not something you're thinking about. What are you doing today to move you forward in your studies? What are you doing? What do you got going on? You do have something going on, don't you? The worst answer you could give is that you're doing nothing, right? Make sure you're doing something to move you forward. Even if it's just trying a couple of new prompts or something like that, just do that, right? Casual Economist says, training people at work. Nice. I love that. Yeah, you're a smart guy, so I'm sure they're benefiting a lot from you doing that. Are you training them in something data related or AI related, or what? What are you doing, Casual Economist? What are you training them on? Wait, I'm on my couch waiting for the state fair. Well, that is how I envision you, Casual Economist. I see you kind of, twiddling your thumbs and one day you're going to be hanging around the house and you're going to look over at your wife or your family members and say, hey, isn't it time for the fair yet? And they're going to say, we were just there 3 months ago. You got a long time to wait still. So I'm sure that wait is only going to get longer and longer for you, Casual Economist. That's hilarious. So look, guys, you don't have to do anything amazing on a day-to-day basis. You just, what are you going to do to improve? Yesterday, I continued, I continued my journey of Midjourney, and I was starting to play around with some of the. Well, actually, you know what? Yesterday I did something that I probably should have done a long time ago. But yesterday I used ChatGPT to help me come up with prompts for Midjourney. You know, I have enough respect for image generation to realize that it's a kind of a different prompting style. And I'm not so great at it. I'm not great at it. I'm not great at the prompting style that is required by Midjourney or just kind of image generation in general. I'm not good at describing aesthetics and environments and lighting. I wasn't fully familiar with the different flags that you can set in Midjourney. You can set your aspect ratio, your quality level, the engine you want to use, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other flags I just don't know about. But Casual Economist says that ChatGPT helped. Yes, exactly. It did a lot. It did a lot. I was able to just kind of describe in my own words what I wanted, and then ChatGPT was able to take that and put it into a prompt that Midjourney would better understand, because ChatGPT added the aesthetics and the lighting and the things that I'm not good at. So, let me know if you guys have done that, because I know some people do that. I don't know how popular it is or isn't, as far as using one engine to generate prompts for another engine, or even for the same engine, right? Sometimes people use ChatGPT to generate their own better developed prompts for ChatGPT, right? I think it's more common across engines, but people do that, right? But yeah, have you guys done that? Let me know. But I did that for the first time yesterday, at least on an extended effort, because I did generate quite a bit yesterday on Midjourney. But yeah, you got to know when your prompting skills stink, right? And my prompting skills for Midjourney are not great. They're better now, and they're better now because I used AI, and I can say, oh, okay, that's what AI would write. Or I was still able to make some of my modifications. I was coming up with, I was using Midjourney for generation of people, and ChatGPT was good at describing people, but it wasn't always good at saying, well, now I want a male in this scenario. Now I want a female in this scenario. So I was able to do that and kind of make my own modifications and say, oh, okay, yeah, I wanted a male, I want a female, I want it at night, I want it during the day, I want it, I can start making my own little modifications because I can use what AI gave me as a base, right? So, reviewers in the chat, hi, I am new here. Welcome, reviewer, nice to see you. So reviewer, this is our data roundtable where we talk about anything related to data. So let me know if there's anything that we can help you with, but there is no agenda here. There is no set topic. Whatever you want to talk about in terms of relating to data, your career, what you're reading, AI, we're here for all of that. So welcome, reviewer. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Stick around. So yeah, I did some Midjourney stuff yesterday. So I also did some more using the video generation of Midjourney. For some reason, I had thought the video generation on Midjourney was a lot more advanced than it is. But yeah, it's really not that great. Casual Economist says, what type of pictures did you make? So Casual Economist, I was fooling around with people in office settings, or people like in busy streets, like like in a New York type of street or something, and just kind of seeing what the capabilities were around that. I was also kind of playing between giving me a tight face shot versus like a full body shot, or showing people indoors versus showing them on the street, right? Because there's different lighting backgrounds and things like that, right? Um, Also, just kind of talking about the imagery. Like, for example, when I first started using Midjourney yesterday, I said, well, show me a business person that's related to data. And that was it. Like, that was for the most part, my whole prompt. And when you do that, it's funny that Midjourney kind of has a bias towards showing you like tech imagery or like futuristic imagery around that person, and it's not very it's always abstract, right? It's not very defined, but it's funny how Midjourney kind of heads in that direction, right? When I really wanted was people like in business settings. I just didn't do a very good prompt for that. So that's where I said, okay, wait a minute, I stink at this. So let me use ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT led me to a much better prompt, right? But yeah, I was basically looking for people like in business settings, like what a data scientist would look like, or what like a data professional would look like, right? But yeah, that's what I was doing in Casual Economist, and I just wasn't very good at describing it, so that's why I used ChatGPT. But the initial 4 or 5 images, or maybe excuse me, 8 images that Midjourney gave me were very futuristic, like very almost dystopian, right? In the way that it kind of leans if you don't give it enough context and background. So I just thought that was interesting that that's the way it leans as a default, right? But yeah, played around with that. I also did just a little bit of work with Nano Banana. I got curious about Nano Banana. I have to say though that the image generation on Midjourney is on significantly stronger at Midjourney than Nano Banana. I was not impressed with Nano Banana, but I also understand that Nano Banana is better for editing existing images, and that I did not try. So I should definitely do that. I should definitely try more of the here's an image to start from, not just starting from a prompt, because I don't think that Nano Banana is putting itself out there as being strong with prompts alone. I think Midjourney still wins in that scenario. But that's just me. That's just my exploration. That's just where I'm at in terms of my study and my practice of data science. Where are you at? You don't have to be in the same part, right? You can be in a completely different approach or just region of study. Let me know what you guys are up to. What are you studying? What's got you interested? What portion of the entire universe of data science are you looking at? Let me know. And you should definitely be concerned if you don't have an answer for that, right? You should always have an answer for that. You should always be looking to move forward and be doing something, right? Okay, so reviewer says, I tried to do an automation where we give the story in JSON file. It generates the video and music according to the given file. As a starter, I used ChatGPT help. It didn't work out well. Why are you using JSON as a input? I'm not surprised that it didn't work out well, to be honest with you. I think that's a totally normal response. And I say that because that's not the type of input that ChatGPT or LLMs are trained on. Right? At least not for inputs. I mean, I'm sure that they use JSON files in their training, like for answers, for text generation. But why would you keep it in JSON? Like, I think you got the expected result. I don't think you should be surprised by the results at all. So reviewer, let me know your rationale there. Maybe I'm just not understanding something, but that is completely standard. Yeah, I mean, I think you got exactly what you should have gotten. So let me know, reviewer. You might have a very unique use case or something else, right? I'm guessing that you're pulling those JSON files out of some sort of automated system, but you also said that it's a story file or some sort of a story, so it's kind of weird that it wouldn't just be text. But I think you got a totally standard response. So let me know, reviewer. Let me know if I'm missing something there. I'm more than open to being wrong, but something doesn't smell right. So let me know, reviewer. But yeah, so I'm gonna maybe do some more work with Midjourney. Maybe I'll post some of my stuff, some of my outputs as a post later today. I haven't really thought about doing that or not. But yeah, that's just where I'm at in my path and my learning. Where are you? What are you working on? Anything interesting? It doesn't even have to be groundbreaking. It just has to be something that advances you and your individual study of data science. That's all that really matters, guys. Right? That you're moving forward, you're learning something new, you're trying different things. Casual Economist says, not a fan of JSON input. Is that a question, Casual Economist, or let me know what you mean there. Yeah, let me know what you mean there, Casual Economist. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear reviewers' follow-up to that. Because as described, or as I understand it, I don't see anything wrong. That's pretty much what you should have gotten. So before I expand on that, I want to make sure I'm not too off track there. I got that also from ChatGPT. Well, which part? Which part, reviewer? Give me some more details there, or a more thorough answer. But what do you mean by that? Like JSON as input. What? You're using JSON that ChatGPT gave you as a prompt for another prompt? What? Help me understand that. Something's not making sense here. Something's not making sense. I don't know what you mean there, reviewer. Give me some more details. You know, guys, and maybe this is a good part of the whole data science roundtable approach, right? You got to be able to accurately describe your problems, right? If you can't accurately describe the problems you're up against, how are you ever going to get any help? Right? You got to be able to properly express yourself and properly identify what you're up against in order to be able to reach out to others and say, hey, what do you think of this? And on top of that, you got to have a fairly high degree of confidence in your own work to date that says, hey, I've isolated the problem, right? So reviewer, maybe take the time to do something a little bit, something a little bit more thorough. Casual Economist says, that's what my therapist told me the other day. Okay, Casual Economist, two replies there. One, that the fact that you have a therapist, not a shocker. Not a shocker. Good for you. It prevents me from having to recommend it to you. Second, what sparked that from the therapist? What situation, do pray tell, were you describing that would get them to give you that type of encouragement or that type of reply? Very, very interesting reply that they would tell you that. Did you just sit there and just kind of say, help me, without giving them more information? And then they told you to open up more or be more specific? Or, of course, you could be implying that this is a therapy session. And sometimes I do feel like I'm running group therapy here. I am in no way qualified to do that. But some sessions do feel like group therapy. I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you, last night almost felt like group therapy. I was losing my mind last night on Instagram when we had conversations about notebooks. And I literally got replies from a couple of people that said, if I don't use a notebook, what is the alternative? If you don't know the alternative to notebooks, what have you been doing in data science? Like, seriously. Like, quit whatever learning path you're on and change course immediately. That was bad. Leo, how are you, my friend? Leo says, hi, everyone. Morning, Dennis. Morning to you, too, Leo. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope that you're doing well out there in New York City. I'm guessing the weather has cooled down out there in New York City, so I hope you're doing well, my friend. Big day in the market, or big week in the markets. Big week in the markets. So I'm sure, Leo, that you're keeping an eye on that. So, Leo, we're talking about what we're doing to move forward. We're talking about Midjourney, Nano Banana. We're also talking about ChatGPT and JSON inputs. I'm still waiting for more details from reviewers because I think I have other thoughts I want to share on that, but a good data scientist always validates their assumptions, right? So I want to hold back my opinions until I know more information, right? That's important in science. So yeah, lots of different things we're talking about, Leo, so feel free to let us know how you're doing or anything that's on your mind. But we're just trying to improve. We're just trying to improve a little bit every day. That's all we're trying to do. I'm gonna, do my streams. I'm gonna finish them up, and then in about an hour or so, I have, I will be receiving coaching because I'm trying to also improve and just move forward. Leo says, yeah, today and tomorrow are going to be interesting days for the global economy. Yeah, Leo, so remind me, how does that work exactly? I think the meetings are today and then the notes come out tomorrow? Or the speech is tomorrow, I think is the way it works. But, some people have said that the rate cuts are already, have been already priced into the market, right? So who knows if that's the case or not? Who knows what's going to happen? Strange times we live in, guys. Strange times we live in. Leo says, yeah, you're right. Tomorrow at 2:30. Yeah, I thought so too, Leo. I thought that there was, it's like a 2-day affair for them, right? I don't think anything is announced today. Leo says, well, no one knows. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Leo. That's just commentary I heard that it had already been priced in. Well, a quarter point was priced in, right? Who knows? They might do something really crazy, right? Not likely, but they say a quarter point was already priced in. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how the markets react and whatnot. So for those of you that do invest, I hope your investments treat you well this week. I manage my own money. I don't trust anybody to do that. So we'll see what happens this week. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so let me know if you guys have anything else on your mind you want to talk about. Reviewer, I hope you're still online with us. Feel free to let me know a little bit more about the use case you had. Because I think I have some additional thoughts, but I don't know. I don't want to make too many assumptions. Don't want to make too many assumptions there. So I'll be streaming again tomorrow and Thursday. I have a friend coming into town, so hang out with him a little bit. Cindy, how are you? It's nice to see you. Wait, they don't use VS Code? I suspect they're working within Databricks notebooks, which are embedded in the platform itself, while they resemble traditional Python notebooks. Yeah, Cindy. And there's a lot of tools like that, like Databricks, that have embedded notebooks, right? Google Colab. Believe it or not, some of the IBM Watson stuff is also notebook based, which I found really surprising. But IBM gonna IBM. But yeah, like I literally had somebody ask me twice, Because when they first asked me that, I thought they were joking. I said, haha, let's get serious or something, or are you being serious? And they said, yes, please give me an answer. Like they literally were unaware that there was an alternative, right? Cindy says Azure also offers integrated notebook environments. Yeah, yeah. But you can also not use notebooks for Azure, right? You can also not use notebooks for Watson. But it's scary that somebody wouldn't know alternatives to notebooks. Like I was really surprised. Like, is that a thing? Like, seriously? Like, that's a thing? Like, you don't know? Casual Economist says, share your additional thoughts. Okay, I'm going to share them in case reviewer, sees this later or whatever. So for Cindy and Leo and other people who jumped into the chat later, we had a new member reviewer who said that they were getting less than desirable results from ChatGPT when they were using JSON files or JSON formatting as part of their inputs. Okay, so reviewers here. I started using ChatGPT from scratch and it gave me a step-by-step plan for building video automation. The plan suggested using JSON as the input format to structure the data. Okay. But the key there is a plan for building video automation. So I think that ChatGPT was probably advising you to take that JSON to another program, right? And then integrating tools like Llama and others within Python to handle the different parts of the pipeline. That makes sense. That makes sense, right? Like if you wanted to do like a storyboard software or something like that, it makes sense that JSON would be your input for a Python program that would then create like your storyboards or something. But in that process, you're modifying it, right? You're not taking the JSON by itself and putting it into an engine, right? Putting it into an AI engine is what I should have said, right? So reviewer, that makes sense what you're saying. But I'm pretty sure that ChatGPT would have told you to take that to another program. Basically just make it a transportable format, right? Because JSON is great at that, right? But here's the thing where I think you might be misunderstanding, and why I say that if you take that JSON and put it into ChatGPT, you're going to get terrible results. That totally makes sense. So let's take this step by step, right? There's NLP. NLP stands for natural language processing. So that's the machinations that you do with text data. But there's also another field called NLG, which is natural language generation. And that's where you take some of that processing and you output text, right? And that's one of the things that I've always said that is highly, highly, highly underappreciated by companies like OpenAI, as far as what OpenAI has done that for us. Because generating cohesive text is very, very difficult. If you've done NLP with like traditional neural networks, it is extremely difficult to generate like text that sounds like text, right? So NLP is the middle. NLG, the generation, is like the output, the stuff that we take in and read as humans, right? But there is another part before the NLP, and that's NLU, natural language understanding. And that's basically being able to take in text and understand the intent, the context, the entity recognitions, right? Like the BERT engines, things like that, right? That's like a whole other set of study. And that's another part that is completely underappreciated on how good OpenAI and the LLM companies are at that. Because think of all the different ways and variations that all of us do to describe things. Like I once worked on a project that I don't want to talk about the project, but it dealt with overnight shipping. Do you know how many ways there are to express an overnight shipping? The FedEx didn't arrive. My UPS guy was late. The overnight didn't get here. My priority letter was late or it didn't arrive. Like there's like a million ways to basically express the same thing. Right? So NLU is highly underappreciated. And that's where I think you're going off the rails there, reviewer. Because as humans, we don't communicate back and forth in JSON formatted files. So NLU engines are not really set up for that, right? So that's why I'm totally not surprised that you are getting bad results, because you're throwing off, you're going off you're going wrong from the very beginning on the NLU side, which then gives bad information to your NLP, which then gives bad information to your NLG, right? So totally standard that you wouldn't get the results you wanted because you're not giving a text that understands, or text that it's been trained to understand. Do you think that OpenAI trained their NLU portions more on Wikipedia and on Reddit text or on JSON text? I'm just saying, right? We don't communicate in JSON. The NLU engine is not primed for JSON. So I think you're getting totally expected results. Like when you first wrote it, I was like, that's probably how it should reply. Right? Reviewer says you got a point there. Yeah, I mean, reviewer, I think you're getting totally standard reply. You should not be surprised by the reply you're getting. And, like I said, really, I mean, JSON is not even intended to be human readable. It's easier to make it human readable, but it's really more of a transportable file format, right? Why is JSON great? Because every language supports it. Every programming language supports it. That's really the only reason why JSON's great. Why do we use JSON for APIs? Because you want it to be because you want your API to be supported across different languages. But as an input, nah. Casual Economist says, back in my teens, I only communicated in JSON. I was a strange kid. You know what? But Casual Economist, some of us outgrew that. Some of us are still working on outgrowing that. I'm just saying. Just saying. Leo says, huh? That was funny. That was funny, Casual Economist. But yeah, humans just don't communicate in JSON. So reviewer, I think you're missing the spirit of what ChatGPT was advising you. ChatGPT was advising you to use a very transportable format. But I don't think it was saying that should be your prompt. I mean, like I said, to me, you're getting exactly what you should be expecting. Like, I'm not surprised. I think you should be getting like garbage out of that. Or, whatever undesirable reply you were getting, right? But yeah, I think you got pretty standard results there. Yes, this is a pumpkin spice latte. I've bought into the marketing, guys. I'm having pumpkin spice lattes now. Sorry. Project said, Leo says, what's the project's idea? I'm a bit lost. Yeah, Leo, I think you might have just popped in a little bit later, but a reviewer was talking about some sort of like imaging or movie type of project that they were working on. and ChatGPT had advised them to use JSON as a potential output for for their workflow of their video or their movie or whatever it is. Leo says, "Oh no, Starbucks." Oh, that's right. I forgot that you're a Dunkin' guy. Does Dunkin' even know it's pumpkin spice season? Like, has that news even reached them? Because I know there's some people who are very, very devoted just to their like their black coffee, right? Very, very little additions to it, right? Apparently, Dunkin's really good at that. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, Leo, that's the project that reviewer was describing, something related to movies or a video. But the spirit of the answer that ChatGPT gave you was more about the format, not about, hey, use this for future prompts. You can use it as future inputs to your own custom program, a program that takes apart the JSON and then does something with that payload. But as additional AI or LLM inputs, just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. We're supposed to be putting in text into these LLMs. That's how they work best because that's how they've been trained. So yeah, reviewer, hopefully that helped you. You know, maybe kind of give you a little bit of a different view on your problem. I mean, it's great that you're using AI. We just want to make sure we're using it in a responsible way, in a way that just makes sense. And using JSON as your inputs. Using JSON as your inputs is like using a notebook for for data science, right? Like you can, but why do you want to be the weird guy, dude? All right, guys. So this seems like a natural transition point. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm gonna hop over to Instagram, and I have to do it now because I got my coaching session. I also have to get ready for. So thank you all for joining. Great conversation. Really glad that all of you are doing well. And as always, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will see you tomorrow.